Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Tonight, we are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. We are at 40 some days now and still no answers. However, there has been a few search warrants, and Sheriff Nanos from the Pima County Sheriff's Office said that they were justified in that search warrant, those search warrants, rather, I should say. And tonight we're going to talk about that. What led them to Carlos's house? What led them to Mr. Daly's house? A lot to talk about. Also, Annie Guthrie getting back her car today. We've got pictures and a whole lot more. Stick around on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace. Smile through pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong. But honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth.
Yeah, baby, much love.
You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like.
Y'all ready? Let's go. Welcome, Miss Nicole.
Coming in clutch, better tighten them clothes, nothing cold facts. Get the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten the pearls. dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world. No smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch.
Well, hello, 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 everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is March 14th, 2026. It is currently 6:31 p.m on the East Coast of the United States. Bonjour. Hello. Hello, chat. Good to see everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me. We are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. We are at 42 days, 40, I don't know the exact number, 40 something days, 43, I think, maybe. And we still have no answers. But what was the probable cause that led them to Carlos's home and the Daly's home? First, I want to say that note we are blaming absolutely nobody in this whatsoever. The question is, what led them there? What led the FBI and authorities there? And we're going to take a much, much deeper look into that. So before we get started, if you don't mind, please hit that thumbs up button. Would be so, so thankful. And share this live stream out on any of your favorite social media. Just click the share and copy that link, share it into any of your favorite social media, drop that link in, and would mean truly so, so much. Also, after this live stream, you have, I think they give you like 3 hyping options a week. If you would consider joining one of my videos, it would mean so much as well. Good to see everyone in chat. Thank you guys for joining me. It's going to be very interesting live today. Let me just say hello to a few of you. Hey, Robin, Green Eyes, Michelle, Anna, Canadian Hair Curlers. Hey, Carmelita, Wendy, Scorpio, Robin, Wendy, hello, Streamer, Karen. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Let me thank you, Miss Joanne. Good to see you. So, that wow, 18 months. Thank you so much, Joanne. And Joanne's a mod for me. Wow, 18 months I've had to catch up with no notifications. Love you. So YouTube is allegedly changing up their algorithm for us creators, and they're only sending allegedly about half of the notifications now. They've done something. And so I am working on a thing where you will get a text or email update if you subscribe if you want. And that way we can kind of bypass that because they're not sending out. They only give you 3 notifications in a 24-hour period, but they're not even doing that half the time. So, how do you hype it? After the live stream, there is, if you go like to where the chat and the comments is, you just kind of scroll over and it'll say hype like that. They give you like 3 a week. It's 100% free as well. So if you guys would hit that thumbs up button, it really, really makes a difference right now as well. Okay, onward and upward. I didn't get one this time. That I didn't. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, crazy. Thank you so much, Joanne, for 18 months. That's loyalty, and I appreciate that very, very much. And Miss Yaya, 16 months. You guys are so loyal. I appreciate you guys. 16 months. We love you in the pros. We love you, Miss Yaya. Appreciate you very much. Good to see you, my friend. Chemistry Queen, 22 months. Oh, geez, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you. Wendy, 15. Thank you so much. Good looking fabulous. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I do it just for you guys. Otherwise, I would be here in pajamas. Thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you. Thank you, Orange. Good to see you, honey oranges. Okay. So what led the FBI and all of them, Pima County, to go to the Dailies and Carlos? And we're going to explore that much deeper today, because you don't just go to someone's house. The FBI doesn't just because you feel like it. That's not the way that it works. And I want to show you something that I call him Mr. Doofy, Sheriff Nanos, spoke about in one of his interviews. And he says they feel confident in the reason that they went there. Robin, 21 months. Rockstar, thank you so much. You're a legend. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you so much, Miss Robin. Appreciate your support, my dear. Thank you so very, very much. Really sweet of you. Thank you. All right, so listen to this. Got a lot to get into today, guys. Here we go. All right, listen to this.
What I will say is, we had what we believed to be probable cause to take action against both those individuals and the residence they occupied. That probable cause that we felt was strong was given to the U.S. attorney, the county attorney, and a magistrate, a judge. And they agreed that, yes, here's a warrant, go perform your duties. That court order, that warrant, in both cases was served, and we got what we got from it, and we're moving on.
Okay. Now, he said a lot there. He said a lot there, right? They could be. They could be ST. If they are, that's not going to be good for them later. It's not going to be good for them later, right? Margot, welcome to the Pearl family. We really appreciate you, my dear. You're welcome. Margot, love your name, by the way. Welcome to the Pearl family, my friend. Really do appreciate you. Y'all make sure Margot is right at home here. Thank you so much for your support. Do appreciate you, Miss Margot. Thank you so much. And Liz, welcome. Welcome to the Pearl family. Really do appreciate you, Miss Liz. Thank you so much for your support. I make sure Miss Liz feels at home here. Thank you so much for your support. I do appreciate you. This is the most frustrating case ever, in my opinion. Well, it feels like there's a lot of tentacles, if you will. It feels kind of like an octopus, in my opinion, because I mean, this is my opinion. You look at the search warrants with, for instance, the family and keeping the car for several weeks. And then you look at the search warrants that they did for Carlos. Then you do the Daily home. And then you're talking about the neighbor's cameras not working. And then you're looking at going and reinvestigating workers who worked at a restaurant. So trust me, it is very frustrating. I get it. I get it. I agree, Mish. I agree. Hey, Lucko, good to see you, honey. Lots of moving parts. Yes. So we're not blaming anybody. I want to make that abundantly clear. But what I will say, I've always felt like, in my opinion, there's something. And just because they get a warrant, a search warrant for someone's place, doesn't mean they're involved. However, there is no fine, there is no solid data on how often a warrant doesn't produce anything. But the loose data, from what I understand with the FBI, is generally less than 5 to 7% of the time there is absolutely nothing, zilch, nada, that the warrant was produced, nothing. There is no link. There is no nothing. So about the loose data is about 5 to 7% that there's nothing. And again, I want to make it clear that Mr. Daly and the Daly family say they have nothing to do with this. Mr. Daly says he had even no knowledge about who Nancy was, where she lived, or anything. But, and we're going to get, like I said, deeper into that as well. Hello, Miss Luthen. Good to see you, babe. Thank you so much. It's time for Nancy to be brought home. Such a tragedy for the Guthries. Thank you for keeping the case front and center. Thank you so much, Sleuth. Appreciate you very much. Your kitty, love your kitty. Looks like a little lion. I want to sing the Lion King. I think forensics literally tore Annie's car apart and sent entire seats to Quantico and are now putting it back together. Well, it is sitting in her driveway, and I'm going to show you a picture here in a minute. We're going to get to that as well, promise. Okay, just listen to this. Again, we're going to take this little step by step, and then we're going to get into a lot more.
What I will say is, we had what we believed to be probable cause to take action against both those individuals and the residence they occupied.
Okay. We had probable cause to take action. I'm using these words loosely as he says it, against these individuals. In my opinion, that would be Carlos and the Dailies, right? We had probable cause. Now, he says something after this.
That probable cause that we felt was strong.
The probable cause that we felt was strong.
Was given to the U.S. attorney, the county attorney.
Okay. So not only is he saying his probable, the probable cause was strong was with him, but it was given to the U.S. attorney, right? The county attorney and
a magistrate.
And a magistrate, judge.
A judge. And they agreed that, yes, here's a warrant, go perform your duties.
Okay. So Pima County, FBI, magistrate / judge, U.S. attorney, all of them felt that this was strong, that Carlos and Daly's, that this was strong. They all seem to agree with that. Now, there was no arrest. But I'm just saying, many times there's not an arrest immediately. Again, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just telling you how situations sometimes work. Can you turn up the volume for me or the video, my dear? Because if it's the video, I think that's as loud as it goes. It's just a couple seconds long.
That court order, that warrant, in both cases was served, and we got what we got from it, and we're moving on.
Okay. Now that's interesting work. It was served, and what we got from it and we're moving on. Okay. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I that's as loud as it would go. That's as loud as it would go. Um, oh, thank you, Liz. You have we got another Liz. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for thank you so much. I do appreciate you very, very much. You got two Liz's became members in this live stream. Thank you so much, Miss Liz. Appreciate you very, very much, my dear. Appreciate you. Okay, so he said they felt it was strong in all the cases and they got what they got and they moved on. And then he says that the U.S. attorney agreed with it. A judge agreed with it. The county attorney agreed with it. All of that. Now we are again at 40 some days. It does seem like it's been a hell of a lot longer than that, if you ask me. But still, sometimes it takes extra time. And it kind of explained this last night. I do believe Sheriff Doofy, Mr. Nanos, but just absolutely messed things up in the beginning, particularly with clearing the crime scene and particularly allegedly not working with the FBI, the tense relationship with the FBI. And I believe because this is such a high profile crime with the high profile family, that they are going to cross every T and dot every I and make sure that this is as rock solid as they can get it. Because when this does go to trial, because I do believe that there will be arrest and an arrest or multiple arrest, that the defense is going to give them hell on a lot of things and try to throw a lot of stuff out. A lot of stuff out. So I think it's taking extra time for that. In my opinion, they know the motive. In my opinion, they know the who and all of that. And Sheriff Doofy kind of said that the other day in his own words. He pulled back a little bit, but you can read between the lines, in my opinion. In my opinion, FBI will make the case stick, not nanos, bananas. Yes, I agree. I agree. Sorry, guys, the sun's going down and the light's coming through, so it'll be like this for a minute.
Do you think
Listen,
that this suspect could strike again, whoever did this?
Well, absolutely. We believe we know why he did this, and we believe that it was targeted, but we're not 100% sure of that.
I think he talks. I think he leaks with his own mouth sometimes. He's not. He blabs, and then after he's like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that," he pulls back. Just my opinion on how he does it. I could be completely wrong. You take it for what, form your own opinion on that. But he said, we believe we know, the motive about this. Well, that's interesting because we certainly don't. We certainly don't as individuals here. Hey, PGH, good to see you. He needs a spokesperson that speaks for him, in my opinion. He really does. Really, really does.
And so it'd be silly to tell people, yeah, don't worry about it. You're not his target. Don't think for a minute that.
Well, if you know what you're saying as, the why he did it, and you're telling also people to watch out, well, then that means whatever happened to Nancy, it could very well happen to your public members, the general public, Mr. Nanos. So I don't believe him at all. This was targeted. This was, if they know the why, I don't buy it. Don't buy it at all.
Because it happened to the Guthrie family, you're safe. No, keep your wits about you.
We pressed Nanos about that potential motive.
There is something that's come out in the investigation that gives you a sense of motive here and why this person did this?
I think it's come out from day one. I think from day one, we had some strong beliefs about what happened, and those beliefs haven't diminished.
About what happened since day one. Well, that's not what they've said the entire time. Definitely targeted and planned. Yeah. Okay. So wanted to show you that before we get into some other things here. Now, of course, Mr. Daly and his mother came out and spoke. They said that they had no idea why any of this was happening, why any of it was going on. And Mr. Daly said he felt like he was being framed, which is interesting. It's very interesting. Okay, so this, I'm giving you some general a flow chart, if you will, on how things can happen here. One second. Okay. This is how investigators generally narrow in on suspects and will generally get a search warrant. So sometimes it will be a tip that comes in, but it's generally it has to be a very, very solid tip if a tip comes in. It can't be just some willy-nilly. You can't just call and say, hey, this person did it, right? You have to show them some credibility that you know this happened. You've seen it with your own eyes. You heard it, something like that, right? There has to be some evidence that you know that said person would be involved, right? And then they are going to get a search warrant, and generally probably with digital to see, where the pings and all of that, like your phone or video surveillance like that. He thinks by saying things that people are going to stay interested in what he has to say. He's wrong. The majority of people thinks he's adult. Yeah. And this is a very rare case in which you rarely ever see law enforcement officers talk poorly about another law enforcement officer. But this is the one time where pretty much everyone's in agreement on it, right? Pretty much everyone is in agreement on it. Now, the request for the authorization for a warrant. Again, some people believe that they just simply went and got a warrant for whatever reason, willy-nilly. There wasn't a lot to it. But Sheriff Nanos, again, if you believe him, told us the complete opposite. He said we had really good, what was his words? I think he said the probability. Was that the word he used? We just played it a second ago. He said the judge with, well, he said magistrate, which is a judge, FBI and all of them. The judge must believe that there, and he said that they were all in agreement with this, by the way. The judge must believe that there is probable cause that evidence is inside the location, right? If a judge finds probable cause, the warrant is issued. He said his department, federal, found it. The county found it. Damn, I can't remember who else he said. I got the memory of a goldfish sometimes. How did he say it? It annoys me when I can't remember something. Right here.
Is what I will say is we had what we believed to be probable cause to take action against both those individuals and the residence they occupied. That probable cause that we felt was strong
That they felt was strong.
was given to the U.S. attorney, the county attorney,
U.S. attorney, county attorney,
and a magistrate.
magistrate, and judge.
And they agreed that, yes, here's a warrant, go perform your duties. That court order, that warrant, in both cases was served, and we got what we got from it, and we're moving on. What I will say is
we got what we got from it. So he didn't say that they didn't find anything, that it was a no-go or whatever. Again, the loose math is generally 5 to 7% of the time there is nothing there, which is pretty low, right? Now, many times these are sealed. In this case, it is sealed. They don't want probable cause to get out. They don't want this affidavit that tells them how or why they suspect someone to get out, because they would learn about the potential evidence that is against them, right? So they seal it. They don't want to influence, they want to avoid influencing or alerting key witnesses as well, right? And also minimize the risk of evidence destruction. Maybe there's more evidence out there, and this person might get scared and tear up more evidence, right? Now, in the Daly's case and in Carlos, there was no arrest as of yet. And again, they say they have nothing to do with it whatsoever. Right? Okay. So how this search warrant happens, the investigators have to find, oh, well, this is interesting. This is probably more than coincidental. This, and this, right? And they present this affidavit. It'll say, for instance, I'm officer such and such, and on or about February 1st, 2026, between the hours of 1:40 in the morning and 3:30 in the morning, we did a request for pings, and such as phone was around the area for umpteen minutes. Just kind of giving you a little bit of an example as well. What if the perp lives out of state? They would, if the perp lives out of state, the FBI would take care of that geofencing. Yeah. Right. So, and then just like Nanos just said, many of them agreed with him. And so they executed this search warrant. Okay. Now, inside of a search warrant affidavit, investigators, uh, the background, that, like I just said, they're going to say the officers, whoever it is, the agent's experience, what they're trained with, years of law enforcement. They're going to give a case summary, the disappearance details, the witnesses' statements, phones, and video evidence of why they should be able to go into that house because this looks a little off, if you will, and it's more probable than not, generally speaking, that something is here, right? During the time that this crime happened, right? Evidence connecting the location. Now, this is a big one. If they had something like that in Carlos's uh, case or the Daily case, and for instance, they said they never have known Nancy. They've never spoken to Nancy. They don't know who Nancy is. They don't know nothing about the case or anything. But you've got some phone or connection being at the home or around the home for a significant uh, period of time during when the crime was allegedly occurring, you've got some explaining to do. Now, one thing that I noticed that Carlos said was he said that uh, something about his phone. And then he said, they said I was looking up Nancy's phone or looking up who Nancy was and all of this. Well, a lot of people look up Nancy Guthrie. Um, but just because you look up Nancy Guthrie is not near enough for them to get a search warrant on you at all, not even close. Now, if you were at the home, um, around the home during the crime, it's really generally got to be the during the crime when the crime took place. Luke's mom had been watching the case. She is a neighbor. I'd be watching, especially if I was a neighbor, but I don't know. Is there a link? I'm still questioning. I don't either. I don't either. But um, there's still some conflicting things when it comes to what they've stated as well. Hey, Bet, good to see you, honey. Good to see you. Or if there's surveillance information, right? If this person said, "Oh, no, I was at my home the night, that this crime took place," but their phone or their vehicle or surveillance cameras, traffic cameras, license plate readers are saying, "Hey, no, you weren't. No, you weren't." Then you've got some explaining to do as well, right? They are going to seize, obviously, electronics, documents, DNA, and trace evidence, and personal items. I've said this a long time ago. I believe, in my opinion, uh, electronic uh, is the reason, in my opinion, they got the warrant. I don't know that for a fact, but I also believe that they were there to get DNA as well. I think their phone put them in the location and their faces fitted the profile. Well, I see um, if their phone is in the location um, during the crime, right? But like I said, if you say, no, I wasn't there, or I've never been to that neighborhood. And if I have been to that neighborhood, it certainly wasn't on the night during the time frame of this crime was taking place. Um, you better have a good excuse. You better have a good excuse, or they're gonna dig a little bit more. Jules, thank you so much, my dear. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Pearl family. Welcome to Miss Jules to the Pearl family. Appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for your support, my dear. Um, l- some by saying someone's eyes look similar is not going to work either. It's just not. It's not going to work to get a search warrant. But they're there for personal items, DNA, perhaps trace evidence, electronics, documents, anything like that. All right. Now, why arrest sometimes come much later? Now, I'm not saying again that anyone is involved because I have no idea, but we're just talking in general, but also um, what could be happening in Nancy Guthrie's case. Um, for sensitive cases, right? Post warrant analysis often continues weeks or even months, right? Forensic testing, we know all about that, right? Lab exams of hair, DNA, blood, fibers, digital forensics, phone and computer data analysis. Now, we know all about this, but sometimes these things take time. And not only you've got to get them all back, right? You can send in five, let's say for instance, you can send in five different things. You can have uh, things tested in a lab and have three of them come back and be waiting for two more from whether it's digital forensics, waiting for that result to come in, even if it is expedited. So you can be waiting and you got to wait till they all come back. And then after that, you've got to still continue to put the case together, review uh, new evidence. So if those things come back positive, well, then you've still, after those come back positive, you're going to go look for more, which takes time. And then also, like I said, I believe, in my opinion, Nanos just bludgeoned this case in the beginning. And now they are being extra careful because it's such a high profile case and they don't want to uh, screw anything up anymore because it is such a high profile case. And that truly does matter. So the prosecutors and all of them have to get documents prepared, all of that, their evidence in line, in order, because guess what? Someone is going to be there to argue with you about trying to throw that evidence out of the courtroom. And so it has to be tight. It has to be very tight, right? Now, sometimes investigators focus on one person as well. And that's important, right? Damaging digital evidence. Um, the judge must believe there is probable cause that evidence is inside the location. Inconsistent statements, the judge finds probable cause. Again, if you've went to one of these uh, individuals and you said, "Hey, would you talk to me? Could you just tell me where you was?" Without a warrant, and you just talk. Um, and they say, "I wasn't around there, but something is showing that you was." There's some inconsistencies. That's going to be big, very, very big. Circumstantial evidence is evidence as well. the circumstances around whatever happened, um, that you say happened on the night of the crime. That's also very, very big. And so, yeah. Okay. Now, I want to go to Mr. Daly here, and we've seen this, but I want to point out some interesting things. If you, it's got to be a ping, right? What else could link them both? It doesn't have to be a ping. Doesn't have to be a ping. Um, it could be an informant that a very trusted informant that knows more. Um, it could be a let's say, for instance, two of them were uh, not only did a crime that night, two people did a crime that night, but then they were also drug dealers, for instance, and they went after all of this several hours later and said, "Oh my God, I'm tired. Here's your stuff." And they started talking about what they had been through just hours before, and showed them something on their phone, or uh, showed something in their trunk. It could be, there could be a lot. You know what I mean? Leilani, thank you so much. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate your dedication to covering cases and speaking to victims. Oh my goodness. Thank you so incredibly much. What a sweet, sweet uh, message. Thank you so much, Leilani. And I do appreciate your support. Thank you very, very much. What a sweet message. It's very kind. Thank you, Lovey. Appreciate you. Okay. Guys, hit that thumbs up if you're just joining us. Really do appreciate you all being here. A lot to talk about.
Are the person on the surveillance video, the abductor, the masked person. Is that you?
It's not me. I don't see the resemblance of it looking like me, but absolutely not. I have nothing to do with this case.
Nothing to do with it. Do you have any idea who is involved in the abduction?
I don't. If I did, I would happily tell FBI, police, anything. I mean, I, like everyone else, just want Nancy to come home and be safe. But that being said, I have nothing to do with this case, and that's it.
He's very nervous. He's very nervous. And, Carlos did not seem as nervous, but everyone acts differently. If you're innocent, you're going to be nervous as hell. But you're also generally, because you're like, what the hell? People's blaming me. But you're also going to be like, what the hell? I didn't do shit. Um, Again, he claims he had nothing. He's very short of breath, it seems, as well.
Explain to me what happened on the night you were detained, where you were, you're with your car. How did that unfold in your eyes?
So I was driving home. I noticed two sheriff vehicles following me. They pulled me over at the Culvers right there.
And one thing that's, I mean, it's not uncommon to, if a cop gets behind you or whatever, you're on your best behavior, you know what I mean? But one thing I did notice Carlos and this gentleman, Mr. Daly, say was they noticed cops behind them. Both of them noticed that. Does that mean they just noticed it? They were very aware of their surroundings, or were they hyper focused on anyone following them? I don't know. I can't answer that.
Asked me to get out of the car. Didn't tell me what it was about. So they had me cuffed in the back of a cop car, detained. I was asking, like, what am I being detained for? And they wouldn't tell me anything. They just said that the detectives would be there to talk to me. And once I saw like FBI and all the other cars start pulling in, I'm like, oh, this is probably about the Guthrie case.
Now, out of everything in this interview, to me, this is one of the most, if I think anything is suspicious, in my opinion, this would be very, in my opinion, based upon what he later says, just my personal opinion on it, because he says, and he could be just nervous talking, but if I were him, I would make sure my messages came across crystal clear, nervous or not, if I'm going to do an interview like this. Because he says that they don't ask him, or they don't tell him why he's being detained in the backseat of a vehicle. Okay.
I'm like, this should be easy. Like, I have nothing to do with this. So
But he says he immediately thought after a while, even though he wasn't told, that he says this must be about the Guthrie case, when he will later say that he doesn't know Nancy, didn't know where she lived or anything. To me, that's another thing that's very interesting, Mish, as well. By the way, I love your sun con. You're so cute. Why these long sleeves as well? To me, there are some features, in my opinion, that do look similar, but again, to me, Daly looks a lot chubbier, if you will. But that's just me. Now, again, he might have 27 layers of clothing on underneath there. I don't know. But I would have, if I was him and I was professing my innocence, I would have been pretty much probably in a damn bikini doing this interview, right? Look at it all. Look at it all. Look at everything on my arms. I mean, I would have had my legs in the air. I'm telling you, professing my innocence. That's just me, though. That's just me. You want to see it? Here you go, mother chicken. There you go. I would have had my legs in the air. That's me. We're different people, right?
Oh, it should be not a big deal to clear my name and move on. Being detained for, and they wouldn't tell me anything. They just said that the detectives would be there to talk to me.
Just telling you.
And once I saw like FBI and all the other cars start pulling in, I'm like, oh, this is probably about the Guthrie case. I'm like, this should be easy. Like, I have nothing to do with this, so it should be not a big deal to clear my name and move on. But the whole time during the questioning.
Now, I'm just going to tell you something. For me, if the FBI pulled me over, if I lived in that town and the FBI pulled me over and first of all, I didn't know about the case. Like, mom might have mentioned it in passing or whatever. I would have thought, how in the actual hell would they think I am related in any way, shape, and or form to Nancy Guthrie? Because there's nothing that you have. If you have 0% to do with it, it should be easy to clear my name. First of all, I would be thinking, why am I in the back seat of this car? Why am I, like, okay, let's say you live 2 miles away from someone that goes missing, high profile case, right? You're just an ordinary person. I would think, well, why isn't the rest of society, this happening to the rest of society right now? I'm no different than them. I'm no different than them. Possible. He does allegedly have a history. Yes. But again, having a history of something else, there's a big difference in, drug charges and, saying someone abducted or 84-year. That's still not enough, in my opinion, for the FBI to come, going through their stuff and pulling him over. That's something that made them all think the U.S. attorney, state attorney, a judge, Pima County, FBI to go there. Something. Again, doesn't mean guilt, doesn't mean involvement, but something.
Didn't really seem like more of like a fishing expedition for them to try to get me to say something, because all the dates I was telling them where I was.
Now he says it's more like a fishing expedition. Well, they are going to ask you questions, obviously. Who, what, when, where, how. To me, it feels like, they're, which is very, not unheard of, is they're, they're bluffing each other, trying to get information out of each other, right? Michael, thank you so much. He's not that bright. He contradicts his story. Very, very much contradicts his story. Very much. Maybe he's a career criminal. Being a career criminal, again, you can be the biggest criminal on the planet, right? But if you're not involved with, or there's not something linking you to the crime that they're investigating, something that they thought that made, again, all of these judges and FBI and all of them nod their heads and say, yeah, something's weird. Something's not matching here. Then they're not gonna come to you.
things like that. I'm like, all you'd have to do is look at my phone and see my location. I like it was nowhere near anywhere or have any connection to this. But still, it was
Okay. I got to go back here.
near anywhere or have any connection to.
Hold on.
Didn't really seem like more of like a fishing expedition for them to try to get me to say something, because all the dates I was telling them where I was, things like that. I'm like, all you'd have to do is look at my phone and see my location. I like it was nowhere near anywhere or have any.
All you have to do is look in my phone. No, that's not true. That's not true. Your phone, you are different than your phone, right? Now, most of us keep our phone with us 24/7, except when something like a crime is going on in today's world. Just because your phone was at your house or wherever doesn't mean you was at your house. Now, if you're saying, hey, I was at my house, my phone was at my house, look at it, and then no other evidence comes up, like a traffic camera, like DNA, like something that points that you weren't actually home, that you could be in the commission of a crime. But just because your phone was home doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. If it was turned off at a particular time, that's going to look worse. But they're going to really look on your habits here. You know what I mean? Jinja, thank you, darling. Appreciate you very much. Good evening, Justin and Pearls. Scotty Juhari sent me a message requesting prayers. He has not been feeling well and hopes to be back in chat soon. Thanks, loves. Oh, Scotty, I hope you feel better, my friend. Absolutely. Y'all keep Scotty in your prayers. All right, honey. Thank you so much, Ginger. I appreciate that very, very much, my love. Good question, Anne. Good question. Because if you keep your phone at home or off or whatever, and a perpetrator or perpetrators, in this case, you would have to have two, to you be using a walkie-talkie, which in one of the suspects, the only one that we are aware of, potential suspects, they do seem to have a walkie-talkie in one of their pockets. May not be a walkie-talkie, but it appears to be that way. Right? So you wouldn't really need a phone. You wouldn't really need a phone.
Connection to this. But still, it was
how he says that is very interesting.
Near anywhere or have any connection to this. I'm like, all you'd have to do is look at my phone and see my location. I like it was nowhere near anywhere or have any connection to this.
It would. All you got to do is look at my phone. It was nowhere or anywhere, and it doesn't have a connection to this.
But still, it was tough, like being there. Like, I mean, I don't trust the FBI to the extent that I'm like thinking that there's pressure on this case and they want to find the person. So like the whole time while I'm sitting in the back of the cop car, I'm like panicking, thinking.
It's interesting how he goes from his phone to talking about he's in the back of the cop car panicking, like he's being, in my opinion, set up. Like he's being set up for this because there's so much pressure, in my opinion, on this, is what he's saying, in my opinion. I don't care if do people get convicted and are innocent? Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. I don't think it'll happen in this case, that's for sure. It's very interesting, his thinking patterns, how he goes from this to this to this. This guy would have not known Nancy. He had cameras in his house. Only people in the house would. This guy would have not known Nancy. He had cameras in the house. Only people in the house. Who would that be? I don't know what you mean. No, Ella, it's unrelated from what I understand.
That I'm going to be framed for this, or they're trying to pin this on me somehow.
Did they tell you what?
I would not have been worried about them framing me or pinning it on me somehow. At that point, I would just be like, why the hell am I in the back of this car when I don't even know her or anything? But again, I don't know.
What led them to you? I mean, something made them believe they needed to talk to you about it.
Yes.
What was that?
I asked them. They didn't tell me any information about that.
Now, I think she should have asked. Maybe she did. Maybe they didn't want to answer. I don't know. But why didn't she ask, where were you on the night of Nancy's disappearance? I think there should have been some more questions.
And I have thought of any type of reason why they could have come after me. But
What?
There's
What?
Did they tell you what led them to you? I mean, something made them believe they needed to talk to you about it. What was that?
I asked them. They didn't tell me any information about that. And I have thought of any type of reason.
I mean, come on now. Come on. Now, listen. You don't think they're going to say something like, where were you on the night Nancy went missing? And then you give an answer, and then they say, well, why is this happening on the phone, or something like that? Like, they're going to give you, in my opinion, more of a reason that you're in the back seat of a damn vehicle.
Reason why they could have come after me. But there's nothing, and I think that's why they didn't tell me.
Were you in the area of the home at the time, like the overnight, or would it have been something like, we've tracked this person near?
Well, I live near her house, but I mean, I didn't even know that until after the fact.
You live near the house. Well, yeah, about 1.9 or not 1.9 miles, 2 miles or something. But that is near the house, but that's not near the house.
Like, I barely just learned where her actual house was in relation to mine. So I didn't even know.
Had you ever met her?
No.
Did you know who she was?
I knew who she was because my mother was following the case. But in terms of other than that, I would just go off what my mother was telling me.
And so how long were you detained for?
Probably maybe 4 or 5 hours.
In the back of that car the whole time? And they searched your Range Rover extensively?
Yeah, they searched Range Rover. They towed my Range Rover. Did all DNA tests.
You damn right. You damn right. And he knows by now. I mean, usually 99% of the time the warrant is with them, right? Well, they got to have a warrant with them to do this, and they're going to say, "We got a warrant." And you can say, "Show me that warrant. Show me that warrant. I want to see the warrant." Didn't Carlos say that they didn't ask him anything either? That is what he said. Well, he said that he said that they didn't tell him what it was for, but then Carlos also said that he said that they said you his phone. He said something about his phone. We'll pull it up. And then he said that he searched Nancy Guthrie and something else. People search Nancy Guthrie. Millions of people search Nancy Guthrie
or whatever, and then gave it back to me. Took my cell phone. I've had no way to get a hold of anyone, which is probably a good thing because everyone's looking at me like I'm this person that I'm not. So it's been rough.
You got your car back
Yes.
in rough condition, or was it okay?
Well, when I went to pick it up, like it wouldn't start.
Again, he got his car back very, very quickly, right? But I will also say that, in my opinion, that doesn't surprise me because it's a brand new vehicle to him, right? He had just gotten the Range Rover after Nancy went missing, which can be a coincidence, or it may
I guess they drained the battery down, and it was just covered in the whatever white substance that they use for testing.
Exactly, spare time. Exactly.
But yeah, then I got it started up, and it wasn't. Luckily, it wasn't damaged in terms of like repairs or anything. But
So when they released you, what did they say? They say you're free? Did they say never mind? I mean, what was the verbiage there from them?
They had just told me that they were still at my house, so I couldn't go home. But they drove me somewhere near the house and just dropped me off. I was like, "Well, I don't have a phone. How am I supposed to figure out when I can go back to the house?" They basically said, "You're just gonna have to figure that out." So I mean, I waited just where they dropped me off at for maybe an hour or so. I had a friend that lived near the area, and I walked over there. They weren't home, so I was just waiting, like basically just on their patio. And then it got to the point where I'm like, "Well, they should be done by now." I walked back to my house, and this was like the worst part for me, is getting there and seeing the house torn up. But the worst part was my mom not being there, and her being elderly and having AFib and things like that. I'm thinking the worst. Like, I see her car's here, but she's not there, and I don't have my phone to get a hold of her. So I'm wondering what happened, if I need to start calling hospitals or what the deal was. But
good question, Amy. Something that is odd. If the porch man, right here, if the porch man disconnected the door cam, he must have seen the cameras inside the house. Why not disconnect them? He didn't know they weren't recording and they were intact? Very good question. Very good question. Well, it just so happens that those ones inside of the home were not recording. They weren't recording. They did take a thumbnail, a very small thumbnail picture. But to me, in my opinion, this person would have had to have known that. Would have had to have known that. Which, in my opinion, this is someone that has been told that. I think they erased the loop every 3 hours. Whenever the police showed up, though, they had the footage to that, though. You know what I mean? Who is in charge of these cameras being connected? Did Nancy have a life alert? She didn't. She did not have a life alert. My elderly grandmother, I have set it up, all up, and monitor, and other than the company. So is it Annie? I don't know. I don't know. Love you too, Amy.
Luckily, I guess she went to one of the neighbors, but I didn't find that out until the next day.
Right. You were detained and released, but you've said it. Your face, your name, it's everywhere online. People still believe you were either involved.
Does Luke have a wrist tattoo? Allegedly, yes. I've got a photo of him a while back, and he had a wrist tattoo. But again, he is bundled here. He's bundled here. If, in my opinion, like I said, if I wanted to clear my name in speculation, I'm talking about if I was him, I would have, like I said, been in my bathing suit. Look at everything. Look at every mole. Look at every tattoo or no tattoo at all. My legs would have been in the air. Like I said, my legs would have been in the air. I would have been in a fucking V position. Look at everything. That's just me.
Or did this? What's that been like for you to have your name, your picture, even a past mugshot,
the
all
cameras
over the
inside
internet
you
associated with this case?
Inside.
I mean, for me, it's terrible. It's hard to go anywhere, and the hard part is they're making all these assumptions based on things that have absolutely no relevance, and they're just bringing up my past, which I do have a past, but nothing violent or anything like that. All my past has just been involved with using drugs, and I haven't been in that life for over 2 years now.
Wait a second. I think his mom's a good lady. I really do. Wasn't his charges just last year? Wasn't his charges just last year?
So all the things that they're bringing up, I guess it's public record, but it never would have came out if it wasn't for all these people speculating.
Right, because we pulled up those charges. It was last May. That's not 2 years ago. Who doesn't love a bikini? Exactly. Overdress, especially for Arizona.
And doing things like that. So now people that had no idea about my past, so I've done like a good job of working past it and not having anything to do with it. So them doing that now is kind of just reopening this whole speculation and make me out to look like this bad person, which I'm not.
and it's not just been you. People have found, records of an alleged girlfriend of yours. There's been a lot of rumors swirling around. What do you want to say about those rumors, about you, about her, about, everybody that people have looked at and said, well, they could do this?
Yeah, first of all, that's not my girlfriend. I barely knew that girl, and I was arrested with her on a completely different circumstance over a year ago. I haven't talked to her since, and I guess they're just going off of the arrest, saying that I was arrested with her. So, but I hardly know her and don't associate with her. But in terms of everything else, I mean, all the speculation is just going off of, I don't even know if people really believe it, but online it just seems like they're pushing this narrative and trying to make connections with things that are, I don't know, basically like circumstantial, like saying
basically like circumstantial. And he's going to talk about his eyes and stuff. But again, it's not the public, in my opinion, that started it. It's the search warrant, right? The probable cause that made them go there. That's obviously going to ignite this, right? Because I mean, you have the FBI shows up 2 miles away from an 84-year-old woman's house, and it's got to be something that they believe, at least at the time, connected, or he knew something or had something that they believed at the time. I don't know.
Eyelashes match the guy in the ski mask picture, which I'm sure, like, if you could use anyone's picture and find similarities.
And you don't recognize the person on that in that footage?
No, I don't. But in terms of all this, like I said, they're comparing my face to this. They're talking about my Range Rover, which I didn't even buy until after.
Yeah, so the crime happened on 5/15/2025 is the offense date. Here, I'll show you just a second. But how does he say it right there? This is interesting how he says this.
In that footage?
No, I don't. But in terms of all this, like I said, they're comparing my face to this. They're talking about my Range Rover, which I didn't even buy until after she was reported missing.
It was a new car, yeah? For you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Until after pause, she was reported missing. This is, if you'll look down here at the very, it'll say offense date, and that is right above the yellow highlight 5/15/2025. That's the offense date. Who was Kayla's husband? I don't know.
They're talking about another car that was towed off my property. That car wasn't an accident, has nothing to do with this. It wasn't towed in relation to this case. It was being towed by the insurance company to assume if it was totaled or not. So that had nothing to do with the case. There's no evidence to.
The car is interesting to me as well. They did say it was for the insurance and stuff, but were the airbags deployed? Does anyone remember if the airbags were deployed in the wrecked car? If the airbags were deployed, then it's totaled.
Point towards me other than speculation.
You really have no idea what led them to you in this case?
Absolutely not.
Still a mystery to you?
Yes, and I would love to find out.
Were you dealing mostly with sheriff's deputies or FBI agents when you were detained?
When I was detained by the sheriffs, but in terms of all the questioning was done by the FBI.
What would you like to say to both PCSD and the FBI?
Basically what I told him before, if there's anything, I'm happy to help. If there actually was something real that I could help them with, but like I said, they have my phone. They went through my.
I don't necessarily believe that this person is him. But I do, in my personal opinion, believe that he could potentially know something. There, something led them there. Something. He's very, very, very nervous. Very nervous. Very nervous. Thomas says, thank you so much, Thomas. I'm a bit leery about whatever tips Ellie received for the Warrants, considering Luke and Carlos, same night, familiar looking, and are both free. It wasn't the same night. Wasn't the same night. What do you mean by familiar looking, Thomas? And free, to me, that part doesn't mean anything to me at this point. And the reason is I believe, and I've said this before, I believe they went there not only for digital, but I believe they went there to get their DNA. And I wish they would have asked that as well. And they have to, of course, send all of that stuff off and get it all back from testing as well. But I don't know what you mean by familiar looking, but there is no hard, like I said, there is no hard data, but the data that I've found, less than 5 to 7% of the time during a search warrant, nothing is found, or there's no involvement. Statistically, 5 to 7%, that there's just nothing. Now, again, we only have a picture of one person. One person. I think almost all of us believe that there's more than one person. Right.
My phone, so I mean, if it was anything real, they could look through that and hope clear my name. But in terms of before, if there's
Mostly with sheriff's deputies or FBI agents when you were detained?
when I was detained by the sheriffs, but in terms of all the questioning was done by the FBI.
What would you like to say to both PCSD and the FBI?
I think there is, again, Crazy Buck, I don't disagree with you. Him changing vehicles and shaving his face hair after is sus to me. These things could be coincidental. I think it's interesting also how he's got a lot of clothes on. I think it's interesting that he is extraordinarily nervous, but again, you could say all of these are coincidental. But again, I do believe that there is a reason why police were there. Authorities were there.
Basically what I told him before.
And it doesn't mean they won't be back. Doesn't mean they won't be back.
If there's anything, I'm
Not
happy
saying
to
he's
help.
involved.
If there actually was something real that I could help them with, but like I said, they have my phone. They went through my phone, so I mean, if it was anything real, they could look through that and hope clear my name.
You see, he's really pushing on this phone. He's really pushing on this phone. If there was anything into that, no. There either is or there isn't. Right? You got to right. People say the if to downplay. If there was anything in that, they could hopefully clear my name. I would say, look at my phone. There's not a damn thing in it. But that's not the only thing that they're going to do to clear your name as well. It's just not. Hey, Daphne, good to see you, honey. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I would have been, Joe, but
like I said, they have my phone. They went through my phone, so.
And it appears, in my opinion, that this person has a walkie-talkie. And again, I'm not saying this guy's involved because I have no idea, but he keeps pointing out that phone. He keeps pointing out that phone. Well, that'll clear me. That phone will clear me.
Well, I mean, if it was anything real, they could look through that and hope clear my name. But in terms of the collateral damages, this being part of it, there's not really any type of way. There's no going back from this.
For your whole family too. I mean, your mom has had to go through this too. As a family, how has this made you guys feel collectively together to kind of be in this public shock, this public scrutiny?
It all just seems like a nightmare. I mean, it doesn't seem real, and it's just been, we're all it's just been a nightmare. I know my mom, she has like problem with stress, and like she was doing good before this. After this, she's been a lot more stressed. It's been,
I don't know if he didn't show up for court. What's her face didn't. Kayla didn't show up for court. I know that, but I don't know about him.
It's been hard. I'll let her speak to how it's affected her, but I mean, in terms of collectively as a family, it's been a nightmare.
You know, what's your message for Nancy Guthrie's family?
Absolutely, Renee.
I mean, I like everyone else. I want to see her come home.
He's not been cleared by the police now.
The actual suspect to be found. I think it's really unfair to them to give them false hope by going off whatever they went off.
He didn't show up for court the other day. I haven't heard that. This guy's the biggest rap sheet ever, and he doesn't think that upsets his mom as well. Thank you for your opinion, Donna. We 1,400 people think the same about you. No, it's okay, Sassy. She's giving her opinion. We're giving ours. Okay. Good to see you, Miss Donna. We're going to sit here and be dumb. Okay. Thank you. You're so sweet.
to have this huge investigation and raid happen, to me, it's like giving them false hope that they had a suspect, and then it was nothing. And I'm not the first person either, so I think it's wrong in that sense.
This is your first interview since you've been detained. What's your hope in putting your voice out there now that people will get from this interview?
I mean, for my personal interest, I would just say, hold
on. Donna, come here. Give us all the answers. Give us all the answers. You are the wise one. You're the wise one, Donna. If you have the answers, please, for the love of God, go to the FBI. Exactly, the criminal. Yeah. She's stating things as fact, not giving her opinion. Yeah. How about say, in my opinion, Donna? Okay. Exactly, Mountain Cat. Thank you.
Not to go off speculation of everything you hear on the internet and kind of like the hive mind mentality that someone says something and then they just go off of it based on no evidence, no truth.
Donna, honey, you can't say that it is. See, when you say it's a family member, you have to say, in my opinion, it's a family member. Oh, and you think the police are involved. Where's my tinfoil? Hold on. Let me get the tinfoil. 1 second. Donna's here.
But I mean, in terms of like moving forward, I just want to be cleared, have actual verification that I was cleared by the FBI and sheriff, whoever else.
Have they officially cleared you?
I don't date. This is just going off what I've heard, but I guess I've been cleared, but they don't close any case, I guess, because it's still ongoing. But I mean, I know personally there's nothing else that they're gonna come across that points towards me. So
Unequivocally, you are not the person, you are not involved.
Absolutely, 100%.
Is there anything else you want to clear up that people may have said, that you've seen, that you feel that you have the opportunity now to address?
Nothing particular is coming to mind right now. Obviously, I'm nervous. This is, like I said, my first interview, and I mean, I'm not trying to get any more attention from this. I just want to put it out there for me that I had nothing to do with this, and I'm hoping that the truth will come out, whatever that may be. I have no idea.
Thank you, Baz.
I appreciate your time. Chris, do you have anything that you want Luke to address or add? Luke, is there anything else that I didn't ask you that you want to address or talk about while you're here? Just want to make sure that you get your opportunity to say anything you want to.
I just want to say again that I hope that she's safe. I hope they find her, and I just want to move on with my life and not have any. I mean, it's been hard. Like, I can't go anywhere. Everyone gives me dirty looks, and they see me in my car. Like, I would assume that they, like, I don't know, people are just thinking I'm like this person, and it's been hard, like, leaving, going anywhere, doing anything. So I'd like to be able to go about my life and not have this shadow of doubt casted over me.
Nancy Guthrie. Investigators have reportedly uncovered more images from her home camera captured before her disappearance.
You see, I really think, in my opinion, Donna, that I really wonder, and again, I'm not saying that anybody is involved. However, I find it interesting that they did the search warrant for Carlos, then they did the search warrant for Daly's, and they did forensics and I guess search warrant for Carlos, or not, sorry, Tommaso. Sorry, I'm looking up something. And so, I mean, do they know each other? Do they know each other? Do they have anything to do with each other. Oh, I've not seen this one. Hold on. I've not seen this interview. 1 second.
For Savannah Guthrie's missing mother in Tucson. Overnight, police
Hold on.
briefly detained and then released a man after questioning.
Give me a second, guys. This one. I've not seen this one.
Being kidnapped. They didn't tell me why I was being dragged into a car and being handcuffed. They told me all that I was detained, but they never read me my rights until the FBI got there, like an hour and a half or 2 hours later. So I thought I was being kidnapped. They didn't tell me why I was being dragged into a car and being handcuffed. They told me all that I was detained, but they never read me my rights.
Paul, based
until the.
Does anyone have that full interview? Anyone got that full interview? There is a particular interview that I am looking for when it's like 8 minutes long. Give me a second, guys. What was his name? Maybe that's it. No, damn. Let me check this out. 1 second, guys. I've not seen all that one either.
Carlos, so sorry to bother you, man. What's your first and last name so we can get it right?
Carlos Palazuelos.
Okay, and you were apprehended for questioning. How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning.
And investigators showed up to this house, or were you the one who was pulled over in the traffic stop?
I was the one that was pulled over at the traffic stop.
Where was that?
Right here on by Chubasco.
Okay, and you were taken into custody at that point?
Yeah.
And you were
I was being detained.
Detained, okay.
I was detained the whole time.
Okay,
That's
where?
what they told me.
Where were they
At
holding
the back of a car.
Back of a
Miranda car, and then they moved me into a Pima County sheriff.
Were you being questioned in the car?
At the Miranda car, I was being questioned, but they only asked me for my first name, my last name, my date of birth, and my social.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I and all that? But
are you ever up in Tucson?
Yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have? Did they indicate that you might have been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Jeez. How do you?
So here he's saying it's all about his eyes, right? But he's going to say something else in another interview. I want to show you in a second.
How do you think they connected that case to you?
Oh, go ask them, bro.
Okay, so
that's something.
I don't know. Go ask them, bro. I mean, Carlos seems like a good guy to me, if you ask me. But what's interesting is I would be like, no, let me ask you. It's my life. It's my life.
You gotta ask them. I can't answer that question.
Did they take anything from your house tonight?
No, I don't know. All I can say is they took my phone.
Took your phone.
Right.
You don't have your phone right now. Okay. What else? What else happened?
That's it. That's all I can say. Like I said, I'm done with the questions, bro.
Yeah.
Can you just let us?
Yes, absolutely.
Se llevaron tu teléfono. Sí, se lo llevaron.
I think most people don't see any deception in Carlos. But one thing he does say right here that's a little interesting to me.
I don't know what's going on.
So what? How did this?
I'm from Rio Rico, as you can see, and it's Pima County Sheriff's.
And so what? How did this all start? How did they stop you here? You were driving here, or
my wife was driving?
Your wife was driving
because they were following me. And once I saw they were following me, I pulled over. They didn't even have to put a traffic stop or anything. I got off the car, and they arrested me as soon as I got out the car. They didn't even tell me what was going on until the detectives got here, like 2 hours before I got arrested. And then the detectives got here. It was the FBI agent in Santa Cruz County. and they told me I was being detained for kidnapping. And I asked them, like, well, kidnapping of who? And they told me this state.
Now, see, that is just so interesting to me. They told me I was being detained for kidnapping? For kidnapping? Like, what would make them, i.e., police, think that Carlos, at the time of this, kidnapped? Because that's not a phone, right? That's not phone data. Listen to what he says.
Cruz County, and they told me I was being detained for kidnapping.
And they told me I was being detained for kidnapping.
I asked him, like, well, kidnapping
I
of who?
think Carlos seems like a good guy, but there's some very weird things here. And again, is this an absolute fucking blunder on Pima County and or FBI? The package was delivered after. That's what I want to know. Does he know Luke? Does he know anybody in the family?
Who? And they told me this lady, I don't know her name. And
Nancy Guthrie?
yeah, that's her. And I told him I work in Tucson for GLS. I might have delivered a package to your house, but I never kidnapped anybody. They hold me from like 4 to right now.
So it was about 4 o'clock and they're holding you to right now. So after midnight. Did they tell you anything? I mean, you're in the back of the truck.
They didn't tell me anything until right now.
No,
Like I said,
there's no way. Absolutely, Daphne. FBI came out and said there's that they don't detain for the way someone eyes looks. Let me tell you something. If that was the probable cause, the way you look, everyone would be in prison. You can't. It's got to be something.
Getting the answer.
And you heard Sheriff Doofy. He said we had strong, like, probable cause.
They wanted me to answer their questions, like where I was, what hours, and all that, and I answered the questions. And right now, all they told me is that I'm free to go.
So do you know? Had you heard of? And Danny, do you want us to come closer to you here? So we'll just walk. Sorry, I just want to clear this up because they're making a big stick.
Okay. What's your name, brother? Carlos.
Carlos?
Yeah.
I'm Ford.
All right, listen to what he says up here.
And Carlos, you mind sharing your last name?
Nah,
no, you're good. Yeah. So Carlos. So walk me through it. They had you here. I know you just said it. Had you heard of Nancy Guthrie before tonight?
Never until today.
Never until today.
Yeah.
So
I didn't. They told me I watched the news and I googled her number or her name and I proved it to me, and they couldn't prove it to me. Like they didn't have no.
Okay, there we go.
It was insufficient evidence.
Okay, this little part right here bothers me. I'm not going to lie.
Prove it to me. Like they didn't have no or her name and I proved it to me, and they couldn't.
Never until today.
Yeah.
So
I didn't. They told me I watched the news and I googled her number or her name and I proved it to me, and they couldn't.
They said again, you searching for Nancy, no matter if I like Carlos or not, that's not probable cause. That's not probable cause. You looking like a certain person and you Googling Nancy is not probable cause.
Prove it to me. Like they didn't have no it was insufficient evidence. Like they only had a phone on me. That's all they had.
They only had a phone on me. That's all they had. I don't know what he means. by that?
And supposedly I was at her house, but like I said, I work delivering packages to GLS.
Then he says, supposedly I was at her house. And then he goes to his job about delivering packages. Again, unless you're delivering packages at 2 a.m., that's not it. That's not it. Now, Carlos doesn't have a history of, he doesn't have a criminal history. Now, he's got something from when he was like 19 years old, several years ago. It wasn't violent or anything like that. He really has no criminal history overall.
I might have delivered a package to her house.
But didn't kidnap anybody?
No.
So what's going through your head when they're telling you kidnapped somebody?
Shit, bro, I'm facing life. I'm gonna lose everything.
And so they have all this. They detain you. You're here for.
I'm facing life. I'm going to lose everything. Nope, that's not enough. But that's not enough, Cassie. It's just not enough. Maybe he delivered an Amazon package that was outside of her door. Okay. If I deliver a package to your house, and a major crime happened at your house at 3 p.m. and I'm a delivery driver and I deliver a package at 8 p.m., several hours after a crime has taken place. What happened in the crime, the delivery driver wasn't there during the commission of a crime. So that would never be it. I know a lot of people think that, oh, well, he delivers packages. That's not it. It has to be during the commission of a crime or something digital or physical that is going to point to knocking someone's door down. Cops can lie. Yes, they can. They absolutely can lie to you. But the one thing that they cannot lie about is a search warrant. They cannot lie in a search warrant. No ma'am, no ham, and no turkey. Cannot lie in a search warrant. Whatever it was, again, it had to be something that made a judge and the Pima County and the prosecutors all say, okay, I see. That's more, it's probably more than a coincidence. Again, generally 5 to 7% of the time, they're completely wrong. To me, Carlos seems like a good guy. I don't get a lot of bad vibes from him. He says some weird things, in my opinion. But again, I wonder if these people know each other. And that's the thing, Crazy Buck. Like, if they went there and there wasn't enough probable cause, that's going to be really bad for them. Right?
Hours, and what did they just tell you?
That I'm free to go.
Free to go.
Yeah, and Pima County, they already cleared me, but the FBI, they might not or something like that. I don't know. I'm still like.
So Pima County's let you go. They said the FBI may be in contact with you or
they
something like
didn't
that.
say something like that. They just the detective in charge right here. I don't remember his name. He told me that they're not looking into me no more, but somebody else might.
Okay. Obviously, you said you hadn't followed this news. This is big, major news. It's Nancy Guthrie, who's her daughter is Savannah Guthrie, who hosts the Today Show on NBC. So it's been big news. She's been missing for more than a week. So they have put out.
That's what he said. They only had a phone on me. Whatever that.
Pima County Sheriff's Department put out that they had detained a person of interest. And I guess that's you.
I guess so.
How do you?
Well, he says the Pima County cleared him, but the FBI didn't. But again, I will just show you that the Sheriff Doofy, whatever his name is, said this.
What I will say is we had what we believed to be probable cause to take action against both those individuals and the residence they occupied. That probable cause that we felt was strong was given to the U.S. attorney, the county attorney, and a magistrate, a judge. And they agreed that, yes, here's a warrant, go perform your duties. That court order, that warrant, in both cases was served, and we got what we got from it, and we're moving on.
Okay. Now, if what they wrote up, if what Pima County wrote up, and the U.S. attorney, all of them did their due diligence and search into that probable cause, and they agreed, they are, in my opinion, would be just as liable for that, because they all agreed, according to Mr. Doofy. He said it was very strong. Very strong. Okay. Now, I want to show you something. Annie Guthrie. Guys, please do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Greatly appreciate you all being here. Share the live out. Means so much. Annie Guthrie and Tommaso's seized Honda has been returned to them. It's now sitting in their driveway. According to the sheriff, he has cleared them. That's what the sheriff says. All nice and shiny. It's interesting. It's interesting. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to Mrs. Banfield.
Also because as far as vehicles that have been seized under warrant in this case, the very first one to our knowledge that was seized was Annie Guthrie's vehicle.
It's a dark blue.
And it has not yet been returned. As of this recording, March 13th.
Now it's been returned. It's been returned.
The questions have been asked by multiple reporters. Is Annie Guthrie's...
But again, it's returned. However, Why did it take nearly 40 days to do
Vehicle
that?
being returned? Sheriff Nanos confirmed on Thursday, which I think was day 5, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, day 5, that Annie Guthrie's car had been seized under a warrant and was being processed. That was how he put it in his press conference. My source told me on day 3, Tuesday, that Annie Guthrie's car had been seized and was in evidence. So
a lot of people reported that it was in evidence.
After that, the next vehicle that we heard about that was seized under a warrant was this silver Range Rover, because there was a raid on a home close to Nancy Guthrie's home on February 13th into February 14th. And that silver Range Rover was towed from a restaurant parking lot where another dweller of the home, the son of the homeowner, was picking up food apparently, and was detained in that parking lot. And his silver Range Rover was taken under warrant on a flatbed. That vehicle has since been returned. I think a week and a half ago, maybe more. But Annie Guthrie's car has not. Several reporters were told it's in the process of being returned. Annie Guthrie's car is in the process of being returned. And here we are, I think a week to a week and a half after hearing that, still not returned. But the silver Range Rover has been. It was seized 2 weeks after Annie Guthrie's was seized, and it was returned already for the last 2 weeks. I think they only had it for 2 weeks.
Okay, that's number 1. Give me 1 second here. One second.
Instead, he is saying absolutely there's a concern to the public.
Wait 1 second.
Seized under warrant in this case, the very first one to our knowledge that was seized was Annie Guthrie's vehicle, and it has not yet been returned. As of this recording, March 13th, on week 6, instead, he is saying absolutely there's a concern to the public out there. And we've known since day 1 what this person was doing and what he had planned to do when he was in there. We've known effectively motive. My words, not his, but you heard me, you heard him. So what the hell is it? You've known since day 1 what the suspect was doing there and that there's a concern to the public. Then why didn't you say that on day 1 and day 2? Why did you tell us? No worries, no concern. And why did my sources tell me what your focus was on day 1? You towed the brother-in-law's car. Then you searched their house. You called off the search for Nancy Guthrie. You turned over the scene and you told the public there was nothing to worry about. What changed, Sheriff Nanos?
Cheers.
Did we have nothing to worry about on day 1 because your beliefs were something else? Or did you not believe since day 1 that there was a danger to the community out there and that you've known all along what the motive is? I don't.
Exactly. He's so full of shit. He's so full of shit. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And by the way, this right here, this we played it the other day. It's really low. I recommend you guys going and listening to that interview. It's really low, but that's Nanos right outside of the house.
What say you about the family car? Can you say
Our friend Chris
anything about
McDonough from the
that?
interview.
Because I know today it is still listed as an evidence item.
It's not in evidence now. So just FY, it's not in evidence now. Now, because it's not in evidence doesn't mean it's not evidence. Okay. Things can be part of evidence and still given back.
What say you about the family car? Can you say anything about that? Because I know today it is still listed as an evidence item in your agency or the agency, the Sheriff's Department.
Right? Okay.
What say you about the family car? Can you
Now,
say anything today? that it is still.
It is out. Well, when we told you guys it was out for repairs, it is still being repaired at a place
Repaired my ass.
that the Pima County Sheriff's Department contracts with for body work.
Yep, or repair work. Repair work.
Repair
Not-
work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not-
no,
not
I
body
shouldn't
work,
say
just-
body work.
It's
I
out for
misspoke.
repairs.
Yeah, out for repairs.
Out for repairs.
Right.
And there's a couple of reasons that we've hammered that on various shows, but the news tonight, no question about it, her car is still listed in the evidence facility, but the chain of custody has been moved out for repairs at this time. So that said, let me get to the next one. Today, that it is still.
Again,
It is out. Well, when we told
I don't find it a coincidence at all, in my opinion, that this was in evidence for 40 days. I don't. I really don't. I think there is something up with that, if you ask me.
Don't know. With your professional expertise and background, what do you think happened?
It was likely, in my opinion, a planned abduction. I can say that just due to the time the offender entered their home at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. it's not the time you enter a home for typical time for a burglary. So they entered at 2 a.m. They allegedly removed Nancy from the property. Publicly, we don't have proof that she was removed from the property, but that seems like the most likely scenario, that she was removed by the man with the mask in the video.
Wait, we
So-
have proof that she's removed from the property. She's gone, right?
She's gone, but was she removed by the person in the video? I just can't say 100% that I know that as a member of the public.
What would be the alternative theory about why she's not there?
The only alternative theory would be two independent events. This individual entered the property, got in contact with Nancy, either intentionally or unintentionally, left, and then Nancy left injured, looking for assistance. Unlikely, but publicly, I don't know that that didn't happen. I'm leaning more towards she was taken by this individual in the
Well,
mask.
let me jump in there only because the sheriff has confirmed to us that she was taken. They've said 100% she didn't wander. This wasn't a case of elderly dementia or anything else, and that the signs in the house, which he couldn't give us, indicated 100% that Nancy was taken against her will. So that's what we know publicly. Douglas, given what we know and what we don't know, with your professional expertise and background, what do you think happened?
It was likely, in my opinion, a planned abduction. I can say
I'm gonna
that.
show you
Just
something. So very interesting how that happened, right? Let's think about this a minute. Let's think about this 1 second. If we're going to talk about, for instance, the 40 some minutes of the suspect rather, being inside the home, right? That person is doing something inside the home. What were they doing, right? We know from Nancy was allegedly dropped off from at 9:48. The garage door opens and it stays open to 9:50, which is 2 minutes. That's very, very short. Modern types of like garage doors, they do log activity, and this would have had to have been logged with a phone, because whenever the family shows up later that morning, there is no log of the door being opened or anything, right? 1:47 in the morning, the door camera normally it disconnects, right? And it can only be from Wi-Fi loss, power interruption, It can be obviously with tampering or intentional disabling, right? So they've talked about it being, there being like a blackout, if you will, right? But did all the routers stop working, or the internet in the area? I don't think so, in my opinion, because the neighbors' cameras, the only two that is facing toward Nancy's from that particular house, those were the only two cameras that stopped working, right? 2:12 in the morning is whenever a person is detected, right? Which means the camera detected human motion after the camera was disconnected for at least a moment, for a few minutes anyways, right? 2:28, pacemaker disconnected. It lost its connection to its phone and or smartwatch, right? Which means the phone, or not the, sorry, the pacemaker Nancy had to have been removed from anywhere from probably 10 to 30 feet away from where the phone. Very, very unusual timeline. Very unusual timeline. From the timeline when camera detected movement to when Nancy was out of reach with the pacemaker. See, I don't think it's a Wi-Fi jammer. Wi-Fi jammers are very, very extremely rare, number one. And number two, I don't think that they have one that powerful. Okay, listen to this.
The stepway, the driveway, walkway, where there's blood, is that Nancy's blood? Now, we've been told, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave Mack, that there was no blood on the interior of the home that they've been able to identify yet.
I would make sure you say yet. They haven't said that it's in there yet, but they did identify the blood right there at the entryway as being Nancy's.
Well, if there's blood on the inside, then why haven't they identified that either? And, another thing, joining us, guys, Brian Fitzgibbons from USPA Nationwide Security. For a living, he leads a team of investigators that go worldwide finding missing people. You can get blood DNA analysis back overnight, almost immediately. I don't know what they're talking about, that they're waiting on samples. Maybe they've gotten unidentified DNA and they're trying to get a sample from that. That would take longer.
Yeah, I think that there's probably some touch DNA from the inside that they're looking to analyze. And with now the FBI announcing that they're jointly on this case, the ability to process these things much faster is going to come into play. So, I think in the coming days, we're going to learn a lot more about the DNA.
I want to bring in Jeffrey Gentry joining us, forensic certified blood stain pattern analyst, senior crime scene analyst and death investigator, former toxicology analyst, author of Forensic Science, Applications to Death and Crime Scene Investigations, author of Blood Stain Pattern Analysis, author of Death Investigation, Information to Obtain During a Forensic Death Investigation, on TikTok at Jeffrey Gentry, BPA, Blood Pattern Analyst, Facebook, Jeff Gentry, Bloodstain Pattern Analyst. Jeff, thank you for being with us. Jeff, of course, I'm just a trial lawyer, but when I looked at the blood, let's see the blood that is outside of Nancy Guthrie's home. It looked to me like low velocity droplets, free falling, which to me, it looks like maybe from a nosebleed. It does not look like high velocity.
Okay, if Okay, the 40 some minutes, right? If they're there 40, at least 40 some minutes, there's only, okay, let's think about this for a second. Let's put our thinking hats on. What would this perpetrator be doing there for 40 some minutes? A, they are looking for something either specific, right? But it doesn't seem like that, right? Because if they were looking for cash, right? Electronics, medication, something that they're looking for, even like a will, paperwork. But we seemingly only allege that they took Nancy, nothing else, right? They could be interacting with Nancy as well, a conversation, a confrontation, or what about even coercion? Saying, you need to sign this. You need to do this. You didn't do this, so now you're going to pay. In my opinion, there are so many discrepancies, like the freaking 2-minute garage door open, no 84-year-old can get out of the car that fast. Then, in my opinion, it's all staged. Well, Nancy had to be there if her pacemaker was on, and it was gathering data from 9:45, to 2:30 in the morning. She had to be there. I mean, someone could have been there with her the entire time, right? They could be there to disable evidence, right? Stopping cameras, which they took one as well. They could be cleaning, but it doesn't seem like this person cleaned. I believe this was hired, Joan. I do. But they didn't, there was cameras inside, but they just have thumbnails, which is interesting. Why weren't they recording? They can also try to conceal evidence, which they did try to conceal evidence by taking the camera and smashing the light and all that. But what about this? This is something I haven't heard people talk about. What if they were waiting for someone or something? Could this person, after committing a crime, could they have been waiting for someone or something? A deranged person has a motive known only to them. Could they been waiting for someone to arrive? Dr. Gary Ricardo, before they even questioned anybody, gave a profile opinion. He said the man was probably a mooch, lives with his mommy. I do believe this person is a mooch. Absolutely. A mooch, just, I think this is somebody who, that financially benefited from Nancy. Yes. Yep. Yep. Sure could have. Maybe they plan to do this, and they needed help to move her. Maybe the person said, when you're done with doing whatever you did to her, call me, and we will remove her. I don't believe she was alive when she was taken out. My opinion. Right? The 40-minute window is something that is very, very important, because there is a lot of things that can happen in 40 minutes. A lot of things that can happen in 40 minutes. Something isn't adding up. Why Nancy, an elderly lady who was the primary target? Well, like I said, I mean, she's 84 years old. Statistically, she wouldn't be alive in a year anyways. I mean, anything truly after 80 years is, I mean, every day is a blessing, because the average life is about 77 years old. So who would want her dead literally at the end of her life anyways? Not a lot of people do that. I want to know if one of her garbage cans is missing or not, because in the driveway it looks like a garbage can being rolled out, or Ellie Homicide had equipped on a cart. I don't know. A 1,000%. Hey, girl mom, good to see you, baby. I don't believe that I don't believe the person who wanted her dead did this. I think it's someone who had someone do this. Is the mic on? I hope so. Hope so. That's the only thing I can imagine is that. One second, what's this? Let me show you this dumbass. Look at this. Sheriff Doofy, what he said before. Listen to this. Remember how he said, everyone, this we believe is targeted, but we don't know. Now listen to here.
Earlier that you don't believe there's a wider threat to the public. If you're not sure if it's targeted, why do you believe there's no wider threat to the public?
Well, we have crime in Tucson all the time, right? Like any city. And so when you say a threat to the public, is there somebody out there who's kidnapping elderly people in the middle of the night every night? We've not heard that. We don't believe that's the case. We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
Sure. You said earlier that you don't believe there's a wider threat to the public. If you're not sure if it's targeted, why do you believe there's no wider threat to the public?
Well, we have crime in
What a
Tucson all
blessing,
the time,
Kelly.
right? Like any
That is
city.
so amazing.
And so when you say a threat to the public, is there somebody out there who's kidnapping elderly people in the middle of the night every night? We've not heard that. We don't believe that's the case. We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
Sure. You said earlier that you don't believe there's a wider threat to the public. If you're not sure if it's targeted, why do you believe there's no wider threat to the public?
Well, we have crime in Tucson all the time, right? Like any city. And so when you say a threat to the public, Is there somebody out there who's kidnapping elderly people in the middle of the night every night? We've not heard that. We don't believe that's the case. We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
Just to follow up to a prior question, you had said early in the investigation that authorities don't believe Nancy Guthrie was targeted. Why don't authorities think that Nancy Guthrie was targeted?
Who said that? Who said they didn't
You
think
said
she?
that early in the investigation.
Boy, if I said I absolutely misspoke. I've never thought she was or wasn't targeted. We've always believed that is certainly a possibility. I mean, you'd be silly not to think that. Somebody disappears in the middle of the night out of their home. You can understand where I'm coming from. But no, if I said that, obviously I misspoke, or maybe somebody misheard me. But I've never believed that she was or was not a target.
Is there anything more specific you can say about what you believe the motive to be for this kidnapping at this time?
Motive's always going to be a question, and we'll know more as we go what that motive is. But right now, my guesswork is as good as yours.
And then we also have.
Except he literally just said in this new interview that I showed you earlier that they believed it since the beginning. I was wondering the same thing, Janice, to be honest with you. I'm like, does he have dementia? I mean, not even trying to be like mean or anything. I'm like, what the hell, dude? There's just no way like he can just continue that. I don't get it at all. You know what I mean? He's beyond. Okay. Yeah, he said it was targeted. All right, let me pop this up as well. What was this? Okay. I don't know, guys. It's very interesting. Okay. Pull this back up. I want to show y'all something here. Right here.
A person of interest, that verbiage created itself during the Atlanta bombing. And they crucified that guy.
Richard Jewell. Yeah.
Richard Jewell. Yep. East and West.
1 second.
Sophisticated to knock out the entire neighborhood. The bush isn't going to work on the camera. It doesn't make sense if it, doesn't
unless he's doing something that we're not unaware of that was more sophisticated than we think.
But what could he be doing, Barry?
Didn't happen.
Well, one person in the audience said that they thought that it was a type of foliage that has a very sturdy stem that could
I think it's before that.
Pop something off or toy with the device or something. It didn't look like that to me. It looked like he was able to break it very easily. I'm a plant person, and there are some plants that you can break with your fingers very easily. Break the petiole.
Yeah, but then why are you carrying what potentially could be a kill kit?
Yeah, I mean, you're going there, and at the last second, your intent is to disable the camera.
Right.
But you don't take a screwdriver.
Right.
Right.
With you.
Exactly. Very good point they're making here. Like I said, I believe that the backpack, I believe it's a kill kit. I do. I think this was absolutely planned, but I don't believe, I am in complete agreement. I don't believe there was this Wi-Fi jammer or anything. I believe, in my opinion, this was hired, and that the person knew that the inside cameras were not going to be recording. However, I think that's pretty convenient that they took the outside camera. The outside camera. Why take just the outside camera? Because regardless, that's going to look really suspicious if the outside camera isn't recording. So you're going to take that one. But they never considered how to take the camera down. Wonder, would you think the sheriff is purposely acting this way because he doesn't want to tip off in the family and get lawyered up, in my opinion? I just think sometimes you just don't, most sheriffs just say no comment. You know what I mean? Hey, Mary, my opinion, if it's your kid, both Carlos and Luke have no involvement. Both personalities, in my opinion, don't show this drastic outcome for someone. I don't know if I agree with that or not. Maybe with Carlos. I mean, this is the thing. We just simply don't know. There's just so many elements to this. I think there's could be connections.
Yeah. Now, this might all be performance on his part. You know, look at me, I'm a goof. But as far as the utility box, if this guy didn't have a screwdriver to address the camera, what's he going to do in a utility box? I mean, yes, you would have.
Thank you. I mean, think about it. This guy is putting flowers over top of a camera to hide it. He doesn't have a Wi-Fi jammer if he is putting flowers over this damn camera. He doesn't have a Wi-Fi. If he had a Wi-Fi jammer, he would have jammed the damn thing before he got in front of it. He doesn't have a Wi-Fi jammer. People forget this stuff. There's not a damn Wi-Fi jammer. It takes the little petty ones you buy off Amazon is not. No. You just jam the damn thing. That's the point. So this person who is putting flowers over top of the camera, very strangely, he's not going to be in this big electrical box at 2:00 in the morning. When he doesn't have a screwdriver. Right? You can think I'm wrong. That's fine. I'm just one of 8 billion on the planet.
Actually, Chris nailed it. You would have a detective go and eliminate it, just simply to do due diligence. But I wouldn't look at it as being the oh my God, this is going to change the course of the case.
Yeah, I mean, and if you do the link analysis thought process, what John's just talking about, if he's smart enough to disconnect the utility box.
That I agree with. No Wi-Fi jammer. I question how the neighbor's camera just so happened to go out at time of removal. I agree. I agree with that. SD, they wouldn't have the clear coverage of the perp on the front doorstep if they had a jammer. That as well. Yes.
But dumb enough to not try to figure out how to disconnect a camera at the front porch. Okay. I don't know. Again, we go back to Scooby-Doo and, pulling the mask off. Look, it's Mr. Stevens.
Right. Yeah, but Christian, profiling, when there is that much of a disconnect in what you're seeing, you think of the possibility that either somebody went from organized to disorganized because of circumstances, or that there were two different or more different psychologies there. And I think part of the reason it doesn't add up is it's probably more than one person. And so somebody is bright and somebody isn't. And or multiple people aren't, or that kind of thing. The other thing is, just before we go to questions, that I just want to get a clear answer on, because I'm asked about it sometimes by reporters and things. Do we agree that this is not a situation where some precipitating event occurs, earlier in the day, and then you decide you're going to throw together an outfit and go do this? This is something that would have taken weeks, if not months, of planning.
No, they did not want to be seen. If they didn't care about being seen, they wouldn't have taken the doorbell camera. Yep. Behind green eyes. Yep. Evidently, the perp knew he was needed to take the outside camera. Why? That's exactly what I said. Yes, he took the outside one. But what? And let me tell you something. If I am going there and I am making this crime happen, I am taking every camera or spray painting them or something before I get there, right? Like something there. Miss Cherie, thank you so much, darling, for gifting a pearl necklace. You are a legend. You're a legend. If you receive that, make sure you give our gal a big thank you.
Welcome to Clutch Them Pearls, yeah, you're in the crew. Shine bright like the stars, this world never knew. We're dancing, laughing all around this world. Hold tight, shine bright, you're part of our world.
Thank you, darling. Really do appreciate you. Thank you so much, my dear. You're a rock star, darling. There was no reason to grab foliage. He had to use his free hand to hold it in front of the camera. Why not just give the glove hand over the camera? Nancy still had her wits about her, so in my opinion, the idea unaliving was an accident. Maybe not a kill kit, just a removal kit and paperwork return kit. I think the opposite. I think this was a kill kit that because let's say you have her sign a will, right? You have her sign a will. Well, if she's still in her right mind after you give her back, she's going to say what she said. They made me sign it. This wasn't a ransom, because if this was a ransom, they would have taken her medicine. They would have been better to her. They would have contacted the family. They wouldn't have contacted the media. They would have gotten out quickly. We just want the money. They wouldn't have waited 4 or 5 days to contact the media. They want to get rid of her as quick as possible. Have no idea when anything about her will or power of attorney. The only power of attorney that I know, and Daphne and I pulled it up, was Tommaso's and Annie's. Yes, please hit that thumbs up. Appreciate you, honey. Thank you. They can call in anonymous now and receive 1.2 million. In the right circumstance, they can call Nope. They just said they were thumbnails, like still footage. And yeah. Here's my question. POA means not much after you are gone. Power of attorney doesn't. Will does. But again, this is the thing about the will that a lot of people don't talk about. They can't claim the will. Nobody can claim the will until her body is found or declared deceased as well. So there's that.
And the people that are involved in this had to have been talking someplace. I mean, it's not like they got together at the local library and had a chat about it. There must have been some sneaky way that.
I don't know about that, Deborah. In my opinion, they know what happened and know who they are watching. They do. They know. Oh, not without a death certificate. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Precisely, Deborah. Exactly.
They were communicating. And I don't know if that would have been by burner phones or some kind of encryption or whatever, but there had to be some sophistication in terms of how they were chatting and making financial arrangements and all of that. And,
No, Kathy, I don't believe that. My opinion, though. I mean, I would have to see a source on that. They're not even worth 1.1 million. They're not even worth 1.1 million. Tommaso, and I mean, he makes a private school salary. You know what I mean? No body or declared dead, no adherence. Absolutely.
really interested in that. That I think we're going to discover that there was chatter going on
Exactly.
for some time in a really sneaky way, which again doesn't
Listen to
speak
that.
to an for
Listen to that.
Filing when there is that much of a disconnect in what you're seeing.
Listen
you
to
think
this.
of the possibility that either somebody went from organized to disorganized because of circumstances, or that there were two different or more different psychologies there. And I think part of the reason it doesn't add up is it's probably more than one person. And so somebody is bright and somebody isn't. And or multiple people aren't, or that kind of thing. The other thing is, just before we go to questions, that I just want to get a.
I want to have Dr. Gary on. I need to ask him sometimes. Dr. Gary Picardo, he's amazing. By the way, he's got a book out. I see you if you're still listening. If you could drop the link to his book, and it's on Audible too. Miss Lori, thank you so very much, my dear. Appreciate you. You received that promo. Let's make sure we give our Miss Lori a big thank you. Thank you so very much. Listen to how he explains this. I absolutely agree.
Clear answer on, because I'm asked about it sometimes by reporters and things. Do we agree that this is not a situation where some precipitating event occurs, earlier in the day, and then you decide you're going to throw together an outfit and go do this?
Yes.
This is something that would have taken weeks, if not months, of planning. And the people that are involved in this had to have been talking someplace. I mean, it's not like they got together at the local library and had a chat about it. There must have been some sneaky way that they were communicating. And I don't know if that would have been by burner phones or some kind of encryption or whatever, but there had to be some sophistication in terms of how they were chatting and making financial arrangements and all of that. And
these people, regardless, whether they, there has to be even some text messages that are suspicious at the very least. Even sometimes they'll even use like code words or whatever that doesn't really make sense, but makes sense to them.
And I'm really interested in that. That I think we're going to discover that there was chatter going on for some time in a really sneaky way, which again doesn't speak to an idiot.
To dovetail on what you're thinking about, Gary, it reinforces.
And again, I'm not saying Mr. Daly or any of his people are involved in any way, shape, or form. But one thing that I did notice Mr. Daly constantly talking about in his interview was, look at my phone. That will prove I'm innocent. And that doesn't just prove you're innocent or guilty.
I think from my thinking about the perpetrator, this guy knew every move Nancy made.
Hence the comfort.
Well, or hence the relationship.
Yeah, right.
Every single move Nancy made, this person was aware of it. To spend all of that time, to your point, in understanding how they're going to do it, they first had, in order to understand why the hunter pulls the trigger on the deer, they go out and they buy a tag to hunt. Then they put the tree stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go get the corn and they throw it out. And then they observe. They may put up some trail cams and they watch all the deer show up. But the tag says you can't pull the trigger yet, or it would be illegal. So then they get a little frustrated, okay? And they get all of this idea that says, dang it, I'm getting close to hunting season. And so what do? They take all their gear out. And you women out there that have husbands who are hunters for food know exactly what I'm talking about. That hunter's blood pressure goes up. Their pupils dilate. They start getting excited. They go back out to the area to see what kind of deer are coming.
They're watching.
And what kind of deer are coming for the bait.
Right.
They sit up in the trees and they watch them for days.
They're watching, they're hunting. Just like the neighbor said, the woman in the bathroom, she said someone was there, a very strange person, the 11th. And then we have this guy, this perpetrator, supposedly there 2 different days. He's hunting. He's planning.
Days and days and days. Okay. And then they go back home. They may create their own ammo. In fact, the best hunters pack their own rounds. Right, Bob?
That's correct. Yeah.
Come on, y'all. Let's get 50 more likes. Please and thank you. Let's be rock stars and get 50 more likes. Double tap the screen if you're on the mobile. Greatly appreciate it.
And they're getting in the anticipation of all of this going down. All of this going down is getting closer and closer and closer. And then all of a sudden, the state says, hunting season. And they're up in that tree before you know it, or they're behind that up in the mountains.
Veronica, YouTube is only giving out half of notifications. It's so frustrating. Well, hello, Mr. Mathis. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. How you doing?
Looking for that one deer that's going to put their head down at the right moment. And then the shot's going to be taken. That's what this guy did.
Well, that's why I don't buy the stories where they were actually targeting someone else and, you know, walked into the wrong house. You know,
this is as targeted as it gets. You could not get any more targeted. Case in point, nobody abducts an 84-year-old woman. Someone who is already vulnerable. Their health, like I said, statistically, she's 84 years old. Statistically, she's going to be dead in a year, regardless. The average life for is 77 years old. It ain't happening. Statistically, she was going to be dead within a year already. You can tell by her photos, she's going downhill. You can tell, her family said she was in pain. She's not very mobile. And she's got a pacemaker to keep her life maker alive. This is as targeted as it gets.
Remember the story, like they were going after the gem dealer who had gems in the house, but they went into this house by mistake. I don't think so. I think that there was intel going on, the drives up to the house late at night, things like that for a little while.
Sharon, you're a rock star. Thank you,
the thing
baby.
that's so haunting to me is that if we're right that somebody that crossed paths with her was involved, there would have been some time that the person was acting like a very nice person to this woman, knowing that she had an expiration date.
Yeah, and
that's so horrible, right? I mean,
and that's really creepy, right? That's really creepy. Think about this. The neighbor that Brian Enton spoke to, who said she saw this very creepy guy in the neighborhood, that he had a hat on, he was looking down. She mentioned it even to her family. She said that's the only guy that she's seen like that in probably 12 years. She's lived there since 1981, right? If that person was planning this, and this had been planned, which it, in my opinion, clearly had, in my opinion, then she was essentially a dead woman walking, or at least an abducted woman walking, and she had no idea. And that's very creepy. When someone or a group of people are planning your demise and you don't even know it. That's sinister as it gets. That is evil as it gets. Right? Because, I mean, most unalivings are not, justified, right? Like if someone comes over your doorway at night, right? Then most states, you have a right to blow them away, right? The castle law or whatever. But an 84-year-old harmless lady, I mean, whoever did this is as twisted as they get, disgusting as they get. Lydia, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you very much for your support. So he is in the neighborhood, question mark. Is that what he is insinuating? Well, perhaps. Whoever this is close. Whoever this is close. And it wouldn't surprise me if this is someone in the neighborhood. Would not surprise me a bit. It would not surprise me a bit if this is someone that has worked for her. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if this is a neighbor who might have did some projects for her, or had a sad story and borrowed money and wasn't going to give it back, or something to that effect. It would not surprise me a bit. Or, she gave money and stopped giving money. But this person was in the neighborhood allegedly before the night of the crime, for sure. Because this person is on camera and moves the camera the first time they're there. So, well, we don't know if it's related, but it was about the 11th, which the FBI in Pima County, they were asking specifically about the 11th. Specifically about the 11th. The way the porch guy just sashayed up there to her door, not afraid of anything in the pitch dark. Well, they clearly were comfortable about being there 40-some minutes, too. Very clear about that, which says a lot.
Somebody, and that's why I keep saying is I picture the person saying, come on, I'll help you, take my arm. Oh, don't forget your cane. Oh, whatever. And that there's a kind of a Judas in this nest somewhere, and that's what's so disturbing.
When he says Judas, meaning someone that would betray Nancy, who would seem like a caregiver or someone that cared for Nancy, but was actually a wolf in sheep's clothing.
That's why Nancy.
Somebody that did the garden. You know what I mean? Who knows? But somebody knew her.
That's why Well, everything in the risk continuum tells us that's going to be the problem. Okay, ultimately, whatever that means, right? But that's why Nancy was targeted. She was targeted.
Oh, yeah.
And this tells us a lot about his predatory behavior. Coming in, just forget the fact that
this is a predator for sure.
I guarantee you the investigation is focusing on the pre-incident behavior. That's where you're out looking for where'd the backpack come from, where'd the mask come from, yada, yada, yada. And you start putting all those pieces of the puzzle together, and then you get to the house. Okay, is there a car involved? Or is there more than one person involved? And if so, that chatter conversation. What do we have for a digital footprint? Do we have anything coming in, even back into January?
My opinion on that, who said that? Cindy. But why was she targeted? Because of Savannah. I do not believe, in my opinion, for a second, she was targeted because of Savannah at all. That's big in the news and all that. I think that is the last thing. And I know Savannah, there's been reporting that she's even blamed herself. But again, targeting someone like a stalker, like a creep that's they could have abducted someone in Savannah's family that was a lot more healthy, right, and a lot more younger. Number one. Number two, someone that is obsessed with you, they do it alone, right? They don't have help. They don't have help. Someone that is doing this for money, they don't wait 4 or 5 days to write a ransom letter to a tabloid outlet and to news groups. So it can't be that either. This is only about money or she knows information that could be damaging to someone, send them to prison even, or they have regardless, they have a deep resentment for her because whoever this is, they could not have her be alive any longer, in their mind at least, than she was already alive. Because again, you don't live much longer than 84 years old to begin with. Right. She either knew something or financial. Michelle, thank you so much. This may be about payback to whom don't know. Absolutely. Absolutely. It could be like a payback, or you no longer support me. You they feel like they've been there's been a betrayal, a felt of betrayal. But in my opinion, the number one reason, the number one abuse on elderly is financial abuse. That's number one. Financial abuse is number one. And I believe this will boil down to something to do with financial in some way, shape, or form. Right.
What was happening before? All of those investigative steps are all about pre-incident behavior. It's not about the abduction.
Right.
It's about what took place before the abduction, because we know what the abduction is. They have all of that evidence and they're keeping it close to their chest. Okay, what the crime scene looks like, what John was talking about, etc. And now we get to the secondary phase of this, post-incident behavior, which, Fitz and the BAU and all those guys.
Very important. Very important.
All of that stuff is important about this guy. Okay. But really, what was important to the guy on the porch? And we don't even know, again, we keep going back, at least in my head, I don't even know if she made it home.
And we discussed that from the very outset, Chris.
Okay.
We don't know that guy wasn't said. I mean, at some point she had to have been in the house because the blood spattering, both outside and as Maureen reported, inside is her blood.
Yep.
But there's no calendar date. There's no timer next to it saying when that blood was deposited. And as we've been talking here, it almost seems to me as if the guy wearing the mask and trying to use the little, fragile foliage to block the camera, it's almost as if he was a stooge employed to say, hey, everybody, look at this guy. And the real people are going in and out the back door.
Yeah. And right. And we don't even know if the hunter
that very well could be true, right? Clearly more happened at the back door. Now, again, you can go past Nancy's house one way, right? I mean, these there had to be a vehicle of some sort, and this vehicle had to be if she was taken out alive, which I don't believe she was, but if she was taken out alive, the vehicle had, and even if she wasn't taken out alive, the vehicle had to be close. It had to be pretty well in her driveway, close to her garage area, right? For at least a few minutes, minimum. Thank you, Thomas. Financial abuse is usually a family member. Usually, yes, usually. But it can be a neighbor. It can be Nancy played I forget what the game is. And she had just had young people over for, not a lot of people talk about this either. She had just had people over for that game just like a couple days prior as well. Some of these people, they'll give a sad story and, say that they need to borrow money or given money or whatever. Things can happen like that as well. Right? Yeah. It's a mahong or something like that. I forget how you pronounce it. But she was she was like in a club for that.
Was already on scene in the house. When she let's play that out, right? She gets home. Everybody, drops her off. We have all those times. Now she's in the house and the hunter's already there. When we're only talking about 41 minutes, but for all we know, it could have been 2 hours.
Well, everything that's being described here suggests, because these are definitely people that would be very suspicious, at least, if not paranoid people who would know to always be looking over their shoulder. It suggests that there was some capacity for intimacy and trust between these people. In other words, I wouldn't be surprised if they had worked together in some other endeavor at some point in life, because do you realize how much you'd have to trust the person and the loyalty that would be necessary? Keep your mouth shut if you ever get caught, whatever. In other words, this isn't just money. If it was money, the person would have already been thrown under the bus for the $1 million reward. There's something that suggests to me these people have had a trusting dynamic somewhere else.
Well, and that may be
Other crime.
1,000%. And that's why, again,
other crime, other business dealings, other schemes.
We've all discussed this guy in LA. No, I'm not saying he's involved. Don't misunderstand me.
Well,
we don't know who's involved. Right?
I'm telling you, and again, it's another tentacle of this case. There's already been 2 people's doors knocked down, right? And all of that. But the guy that called Tommaso and Annie, who was arrested, I've told you guys this. I haven't done the members only yet. I'm going to do the members only. There's some very interesting coincidences about that guy. We went over the band member, or he's in a band very similar to like Tommaso is and stuff like that. But he had a family member that just happened to be in Tucson the same time Nancy was abducted. I don't know. But
well, what I'm saying is that's the kind of guy you would want to go, why are you involved?
Yeah. Why did you force yourself into, the most famous crime case on the globe right now, and you decide that, well, here's something I want to do. I will insert myself into this investigation, and maybe the FBI will come and grab me. It's either reckless, or he hadn't thought it through. He's the anomaly, part of a major anomaly to this.
Yeah,
No, I haven't done it yet, Deborah.
that
I'm going to
all
do
of
it.
us here would put up on another sheet of paper on the wall in the war room and go, okay, so let's figure this out first before we figure out the other pieces of the puzzle. Because if in fact you can figure that out, and if it was connected, guess what? He's your weakest link. Okay, he's the guy that you're going to sit down as John.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to do a members only on that one, and the reason is because it will show I'll have to show a lot of information, and I just can't pop it up here. So it would have to be like a members only, because it shows a lot of names and a lot of things. Yeah. So it's very interesting. It's the guy, in my opinion, regardless, is a lunatic, an absolute lunatic. Just the way that the bands and stuff talk about all kinds of evil stuff and all that, but it's just there's very interesting information about his dad and things, which is
has done many times, and say, we've got door number 1 or door number 2. And by the way, the public wouldn't even know about it. Nothing. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely nothing. But don't you think, and of course they did it, but don't you think it's also an anomaly that this guy lives in Hawthorne, California, gets caught and arrested by the feds in California, the FBI, and all of a sudden he's hustled over to Tucson?
Well,
and I know we can do that, Bob, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. We've talked about this off camera, but he's got to be brought back here because this is where the charges are filed, in the District of Arizona.
Okay.
So it's a federal case.
But could they have charged him in LA?
Well,
they arraigned him in federal court in Santa Ana. They arraigned him there.
He can make an initial appearance out of district, but I guarantee you the marshals, U.S. Marshals, once he was arraigned, was transported him back to Tucson. And so that's who has jurisdiction. The U.S. Attorney for the District of Arizona has the case. They're the ones that are charging him. And that's why he's brought back. Now, there could be a secondary reason, which is to your point, and I think you're spot on with that, because they rushed him back here, is my understanding, within a couple of days. And I can tell you that, yeah, sometimes that happens on your average case, but sometimes it doesn't happen, and it takes a little while. When you go into the custody of the U.S. Marshal Service, a lot of it just depends on when the next transport is, and so forth. And I don't want to say too much about that, but not everything happens that quickly.
I love Chris's face when he does. He's like, Lisa Boo, good to see you, girl. Thank you so much. What a year. Much love you, darling. Thank you so much for your continued support. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate that very much. Thank you for your support, my love. Maybe poor Guthrie has been subjected to elder abuse that someone wanted to silence her. That's absolutely very, very possible. Very possible.
And so, it's kind of interesting. And
you want to be near, you want to, when the volcano is exploding, Kilauea Iki, you want to be near the lava where it's hot. Okay. And you want access. The scientists need access to test the lava, sometimes. But, and for the record, everybody in the chat, we're not saying that guy is involved.
Did anything. Yeah.
We're just saying it's an anomaly from an investigative experience where you go, wow, look, Scooby-Doo, it's Mr. Stevens. Okay. You go, wow. Okay. And so let's grab some of these questions because they're stacking up here.
It's very interesting, and there is a lot of interesting things. We might go over some of that tomorrow. Nancy is a graduate from the Arizona University. She had her career in Tucson, was primary in public relations and university administration. Yes. Deb, I think she took that money to give them for down payment. Yeah. Yep. All right, y'all. Well, I think we're going to end it here. I'm at 3 hours and 15 minutes. I'm trying to not make them over 3 hours, but I get people's like, it's too long, but there's so much to talk about. There's so much to talk about in this. It's absolutely crazy. Now I'm wondering if they're married or just they are married. They are 100% married. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Ginger. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I still call you Carmelita. You're always going to be Carmelita to me. Can LE lie about a victim as far as their well-being? Like if Nancy was found, could LE lie and not tell the book? No. They're not going to do that. No. Yeah. There's so many different weird elements about this case, and it really could go any way. This is one case truly that could go any way. But again, with the search warrants that we know of that has taken place over the last 40 some days with Carlos and the Daily Home, that's the only two other than Tommaso and Annie that we are aware of in the last 40 some days. And to me, that's interesting. That stands out. Now, if they were knocking on other people's doors, then they might be. We just might not know about it. But that's what we know right now. And it takes a lot to get one of those search warrants. So we just don't know. Maybe you can find about. Deb, she has refinanced her house, I think 3 times since 91 or 92. I do too. Ginger, I agree. I think they know exactly who it is right now. Whom's, because I don't believe it's just one, but I believe there is more than one and all that. Depends how I feel. I might come back in a little bit. It's the weekend and I'm going to be up early. Thank God. Oh, thank you, Holly. That's very sweet. Thank you so much. Very kind. Guys, thank you all so much for joining me. Like I said, I might come back in a little bit. There's some interesting stuff came out about Jack and Lily that I want to talk about, but we might wait till tomorrow as well. We'll see. Please hit that thumbs up button or double tap the screen if you haven't yet. Greatly appreciate it. Share the live out. means so much. After this video, you get 3 hypes a week. If you would consider hyping one of the videos, would mean so much as well. It's absolutely free and means more than you know. Love you guys. Thank you to mods, members, and every single one of you in chat that contributed. It's valuable and I appreciate it, whether you agree with me or not. And thank you for your time. You really could have, there's a lot of options here on YouTube. And I do appreciate you sticking around here with some of your time. Thank you guys so much. God bless each and every one of you guys. Good night.